Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Now this is quite unusual because today I am with Nitro.
Hello.
And we're about to do something interesting with these two consoles, so explain.
So we're going to be comparing both the consoles, seeing what one was better in general and even at the time. So performance, UI, how long it takes to boot up, basically what features it had, and of course the games.
Of course. So today we'll just be comparing the PS Vita, the original, with the new Nintendo 3DS that you guys may have seen already in my channel. Although it would have been really nice to have the original. But without further ado, let's dive right into this. Okay, so for starters, I just want to test out the button mapping, or at least just feeling. So first of all, the 3DS, as you guys already know, I replayed a lot on it. I know how it feels. It's pretty comfortable in my standards, or at least in the way how I play with it. Now the PS Vita, I don't really own one. There's Nitro's, of course, but it does actually have a pretty good build, I'll say. An okay D-pad or dual analogs that are pretty, console-like. These buttons are kind of similar to a Switch, so it's okay. The start select, they're fine, I'll say. Bumpers, pretty good, for its time. I do like the feel to it, and you also have the back touchpad as well. And this one, you have the front. But generally, both I'll say are pretty good, but clearly this is more like console orientated, I'll say. This is more of a simple portable.
So next, what we're going to do is see what one basically takes the shortest amount of time to power on. Which for the 3DS, if you never owned the console, there would be an issue like where you hear the menu in the background, however the screen will be black. We're still going to add time to that as, again, the menu didn't really fully load. That's like saying with the Wii U, hey, it powered on, but yet nothing loaded, basically started. We're not going to count that. That's kind of be bullshit and kind of cheating. So, yeah.
Power button test.
3, 2, 1, go. It took around 10.5 seconds for the Nintendo 3DS, the actual power on.
PS Vita.
3, 2, 1, go. "19 seconds, guys. That's actually kind of pathetic, but it's probably because this thing's modified and has fucking parental controls. That could probably... I don't know the parental controls part. The mods, yeah, definitely.
Okay, so now we're going to be diving into the UI of, fortunately, both consoles with the same theme. Dreamcast theme, so...
So, yeah, the theme on this runs pretty flawlessly. You can use the D-pad to navigate, of course. I like the fact that I use the Sega Dreamcast's, select sound in the process. However, I am gonna be honest here, the stock theme like this is kind of small for me, but I do like the fact that I can also make it smaller in these little channel options here, kind of like the Nintendo Wii and the Wii had. Now we move on to the PlayStation Vita, and probably because I'm used to it, this is a flawless menu. It just moves smoothly. You select an app, it does this little animation and it moves. You can also hold B to get out. You can also swipe the screen. But yeah, they're both good themes. However, I'm going to give it to the PlayStation Vita due to it feeling a little bit more smoother.
Yeah, and I guess I'll take that.
And because it also didn't really age that much. You'd give someone this and they think it came out in 2019. You give someone this and they think it's like the Wii U or the Wii, so it's around 2012-ish. So here what we're going to do is that we are going to kind of compare the screens and how the graphic input is. We're both loading racing games. While yes, I'm 100% aware most wadded isn't like Mario Kart 7. It's kind of all we got around here. Unless I boot up Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. However, I feel like most wadded is just a better game in general.
But we will be loading similar games on these consoles too.
Yes. We both have some similarities, as the 3DS had some copies like Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed and Minecraft, while this also has both of those. And Terraria, but I'm the only one with Terraria, so...
Well, that took some time. Friendless.
Basically, what options you can do with your friends on both consoles. So I can add people, I can search in usernames. I'm just gonna put in my brother's. Oh. Don't add them, by the way, because you can't really. So anyways, you can add your friends. So if they're on PlayStation 5, it'd still work. PlayStation 4 will work. PS3, maybe. I never tried PS3 yet. So if I go to friends here, these two are both PlayStation 4 users, and I can still communicate with them and whatever. So also, not to mention the Vita, it also has a messages feature where you can message your friends, of course. But not even most consoles even have this for handhelds, but you can also use voice chat. You can plug in a microphone and it'd work. And then you can also go to here, you can adjust your microphone right here. It works with the 360 basically, so yeah.
Now, as for the 3DS, there used to be a lot we can do with friends with Miiverse, so where you can message and like their posts. But today, there isn't really much options anymore. Now, all you can do is just add people and pretty much just
Play games with them.
play games with them. So yeah. However, you could also link your Nintendo Network or actually your 3DS to Nintendo Switch, where you can add your friends there, but that's also a whole different feature. Next up, we have the internet browser, and we're going to test out which connects much faster to, to the internet or to a website.
As a disclaimer, I have to use the PlayStation Portable version, as the PlayStation Vita version is blocked by parental controls because, yeah, fucking parental controls. So in the meantime, the PSP version would work for now, as it still can search stuff up.
And also, pretty similar to specs,
Yeah.
or it utilizes specs of the PS Vita, so
Yeah.
it should be fine.
And for the PS3, well, not the PS3, the 3DS, giving it more of a competition. So now what we're going to do is load up what loads up the word Nissan 350Z faster, and probably the practicality of each browser featuring the features. Mine is similar to the PSP, meaning that the touchscreen is disabled, sadly. However, it doesn't mean I'm going to be down in specs.
They load pretty similarly.
Now let's see what shows a better image quality, the Vita or the 3DS. So if I go to images, which by the way is a PSP, so don't expect the best, and then it shows your Nissan 350Z right here, which I can probably click on the image, I think, and then yeah, there you go. Okay,
so for 3DS, we're gonna go to images. Images, please. Oh wait, hang on. Okay, images. We see down here we have our
Load the gray
options,
one.
and we try to load up. Wait, gray one.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we load it up, yeah.
It doesn't load. The Vita, it loads because the PSP version I think is more better optimized than the 3DS. Hate to say it. So what we're going to do now is compare both the cameras, my PlayStation Vita versus the 3DS. The image we're going to be taking is the picture of the PlayStation 3 XMB. And then, yeah, we're just going to see what one's better. One has higher camera quality, one has better lighting, everything.
Okay, so we basically took similar pictures, and I know it's not the best quality, but here's the 3DS version. It's zoomed in because for whatever reason it's on default like that, I can't adjust it. And the PS Vita,
It's kind of disappointing, honestly. I expected better. But, I mean, you can at least tell it's a PlayStation 3 XMB, barely. So I'd say they're both tied on this one. Well, Vita has a better spec on the screen than the 3DS in general, so, I mean, it looks better because of the screen.
yeah.
But overall, the cameras are both ass. That's a cheap feeling. It feels cheap that way. Now, moving on to features, one would have more features when they both came out. Basically, the 3DS had the same features as the old one from 2011, and this is the 2011 system. So they're both around the same time frame about. So yeah, let's get started.
As you all know, the 3DS's main gimmick was the 3D feature. Since I'm using the new one, it has face tracking. So basically, you don't need to have a perfect angle. You can kind of adjust yourself, and it's a lot more flexible. In addition, you do have the NFC reader down here, and G Internet, which isn't really the best. I mean, you do have Spot Pass and Street Pass, so you can collect locally and those abroad. But unfortunately, compared to the Vita, which has Bluetooth, it's pretty much behind, so it's not really exactly the best, I'll say.
Yeah. And then not to mention, you have this mini menu where you have airplane mode, you get your Wi-Fi, you get your mobile network. Yes, mobile network. You got your brightness setting, which you can move the slider. You got music, so it's basically like an MP3 player, and then you got your microphone. What you also have on the side here is a little SIM card tray, which will basically read your SIM card as long as it's AT&T for the most part. I don't have one as it says no SIM. Now, if you use your network operator, at the time you could have connected to AT&T networks. You got it fucking froze.
Not to mention that the original 3DS requires you to have the NFC adapter, so that's another blow to that. So you need an add-on to the original. So the new one just adds slightly a bit more features into it.
So what I want to mention is with the PlayStation Vita itself is that it has remote play from PS3 and PS4. I'm gonna be doing this with my PS3 Slim, as that's kind of all I have on PlayStation. So when I press B here, it'll load remote play. You go to your console, press PS3 remote play, press that again. It'll load up the menu. Now I don't really have this connected to it's connected to the internet, but I don't have my PSN account. So I'm going to go to the private network. It's going to connect to the PlayStation 3. And then when it does, it'll show up the entire PS3 menu, which at the time, you could have played games and everything. However, I'm not really on the latest firmware on my PS3 as it's modified, so the game option doesn't work. But as you can see, You can access like Netflix, PlayStation Store, video, music, Spotify as well. I forgot to mention your photos, and then your system settings, and then your user. But yeah, it's pretty neat that it has that.
Real quickly, I just want to show the bottom features. We have the card, the audio jack, the stylus, the power button, charging and wireless connectivity, as well as the bumpers here. As you all know, the charger, obviously the original 3S, the charger will be moved here, and it'll be the card in the middle. The micro SD card, it's behind this plate. And I cannot take it out because one of my screws is busted, which hence why I can't mod it. Well, unless I use the wireless connectivity to the PC, which to me is useful, but I haven't tried that yet. But I don't know. I think I probably did, but not entirely sure. But it uses a micro SD card, whilst the original one had an SD card, regular SD card, and so it's a lot more universal. Was the PS Vita? If we look at its features, we have what's this?
Proprietary slot for the Sony's thing. However, there was a thing in the modding committee where it fixes this issue by having an SD to Vita, which goes into the game slot, and you can put any micro SD card in here. I'm not going to take it out as it could probably F up the system, but it has 128 gigabytes of storage now.
We have the shops.
There's the 3DS, we're not going to load it, but the Vita, however, it still runs. Same with the PlayStation 3. You can still browse your games, you can still get like your PS Vita games. Your free to plays. So yeah, everything still runs here, it's just you can't really add any money to it, you have to have a PS4 for that.
Since 2023, the Nintendo eShop on the 3DS and Wii U have shut down. However, you can still access them and re-download all of your old games, and they hold pretty much similar menu UIs as they once did before. But generally speaking, it's pretty similar to its Wii U counterpart, although not exactly the same as the UI, of course, but similar aspects and elements, you can say. And kind of similar, I guess in some ways you can kind of compare both to the Switch, since this is the same app, but it uses a different online service, obviously. So there's that. And also, you can mod this again, so to get any more games if you like. So let's compare similar games. Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing Transforms on both consoles. Start the loading.
Oh, you just see this thing? Oh,
No,
I can't see it.
We'll just go. Whoop. Let's skip that. Oh, so here's the pop-up screen. Okay. So this is still loading, surprisingly. Well, because it is a new game, I actually didn't play it on this. Now this is similar to the console version itself, and even with graphics. So here we have the 3DS. Sure, why not? We'll start with his.
Why is it in there? I don't know.
I mean, not the best graphics, but
It's PS.
it's
Like,
yeah.
and then you got like your character. I'm just gonna go this guy.
But the UI, the menu, it's pretty much like the console system, or the console edition. So
yeah.
which I also forgot to load mine.
Oh, I forgot. Mine has this feature
Yeah, that's on console.
from the console. Your
This
stuff
one
is
is a
shit.
bit different. Developed differently, World Tour. But we're gonna show his screen first, so.
So yeah, it's more like a racing game that you feature like Forza, like where the triggers, or in this case the bumper buttons, are how you drive. I'm not the best at this game, but shit. Yes, faster. Wherever the hell you are. I believe this version also has more content than the 3DS. Yeah, probably do like one lap just to keep it like sort of safe.
No, speed up VS.
So yeah, that's the game on the Vita. You know what? Just doing the same character because loads of loading times. So yeah, it literally feels like Mario Kart on the controls. How do you do tricks? Anyone know how to do tricks in this game?
Not sure. Probably D-pad, so try that. down here with maps, so.
On the broad side, at least you can look back in this game.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what it looks like.
I have to say, the PS Vita is practically wins this. I mean, it's better as the console version. This one is its own weird edition, so. Next up, we have Minecraft. Now, this is a new Nintendo 3DS edition. Again, it's its own version, not related to the Legacy Console edition. And we have the PlayStation Vita. Now, we're just gonna hit load onto this. Note that the new 3DS edition is only the new 3DS, hence its name, so.
Mine takes a bit to load.
Okay, so here it is. Yeah, so one advantage of this is an update ahead, since that's update aquatic. This one has barely 1.12, I'll say. And if we check on the gameplay, you can already tell the difference onto these two versions. If I were to load up my survival world, and he loads up his, so his loads way faster, probably because it's used to it. But yeah, similar to pretty much the other Legacy console editions, a bit pixelated when you look closely, but overall generally the same, runs well. So this is a quite solid version of the game, especially if the new Nintendo Switch edition is no longer available. So that used to be the best. Now we have this 3DS edition. It's not bad. It's uniquely different in its own way. And while the graphics aren't the best, considering the render distance, how low it is, it does still offer a very nice and playable experience for anyone who pretty much owns this console. So, yeah. And as you can see, it's similar to the Pocket Edition, at least the older versions of the Pocket Edition, before the Better Together update. Also, it actually takes a while to close Minecraft on this version, for whatever reason. So.
And then when you go into a game like mine, all you gotta do is just press home and then swipe and then you're already in the home menu. So
yeah.
Overall, the menus, this one runs faster when closing out a game.
Indeed.
So yeah, as far as specs, this is more like the PSP or GameCube in specs. And then you have the PS Vita, which is more like your PlayStation 3, or in some cases, if you want, you can call it the lower end Switch.
Well, technically, in my opinion, I consider this just a little bit more powerful than the Wii, considering the fact that 3DS was similar to the Wii, in my opinion, and this is a bit more powerful than the 3DS, as you can see through the specs on screen. But generally, I can kind of agree with what his statement is: a portable PS3 and a somewhat portable Wii.
Or a GameCube, or basically a slightly more powerful PlayStation portable, or at least this version is. So in conclusion, in my opinion, the PS Vita has more stuff than the 3DS, but that could also be because this thing is modified, if you can't tell, as it now runs PlayStation Portable and PlayStation 1. But even then, it still play the same games that you saw in the thing, so your PSP and your emulators and shit.
So in my opinion, I believe both of these consoles should be respected in their own ways. Uniquely, the 3DS, if I mod this, then it would have given equal advantage, or somewhat comparable to the PS Vita if I had this modded. So that's really the only downside for me at least, but I'm pretty sure any of you guys can do it. But overall, it really depends on your personal views on which console you do prefer, because after all, these have legacies. And you know, it's something that.
Well, I mean, like at the time, they're good consoles. They're still good consoles today. My committee is really keeping them alive.
Yeah, I mean, compared to today, where people just play mobile phones, these two guys are pretty unique. They don't have to be the same, but you know, it makes them. They just great memories for anyone. So that's one thing they have in common. And of course, we do have the Switch, but even that's getting competed. And we do also have the Steam Deck. So at least handheld consoles are still around here.
Yeah, even the older ones run. Like the DS, yeah, it's a good one. The PSP, solid system. I mean, you get around the same specs as the 3DS, so you're not really missing much there.
I want to thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope you guys have a lovely day.